Do you have any? Oh, actually, yeah, Matt. What are your theories, man? Here we go, Matt's corner. Right? No, no, no.
Oh, and you know what? I just noticed something from Tron Dreamer, and this is something that I thought about too, but I forgot bringing up. Is that Wanda does mention that she doesn't really know or how she started controlling the townspeople, and she does mention that, and that's big. The
Yeah.
fact that
multiple times in the last like 2 or 3 episodes.
yeah, multiple times. She doesn't remember how it started, but she knows that she's in control to a certain degree, and I think that's a really, really important point. That
But in the comics, she's lost control of her powers before, so
yeah, um, yeah, for
Well,
sure.
that's double standards, all right? Because let's just put it this way. Why? Right? Double standards. When Agnes says, he parks the car and is like, oh, I don't know what it. Everyone's like, oh no, she knows exactly what she's doing. She's playing everyone. She's no. But then when Wanda says that she can't remember, everyone's like, oh no, she doesn't know. She doesn't remember.
Hey, back off
What's
of
the
Wanda.
difference?
Back off.
What's the difference? That's my question. What's the difference? Wanda is the villain.
Wanda is grieving.
Wanda is the villain.
That's
right?
that's
Now,
the
Agnes
difference.
was parked out there, right? Because she's working with Haywood because they're trying to push Vision out of the thing so that they can get here and they can build Ultron using Vision. That's what they're trying to do.
Do you
That's
need my help
my
getting
whole
more
theory.
stuff?
Now, whether Haywood's Mephisto and he's
Yes.
trying to create Ultron
I can't hear
to
you.
work
Do you
with
need
him,
my help getting
I don't
more
know,
stuff?
mate. I just think Marvel's just doing all these things and they're trying to throw everyone off.
Are you sure?
But I still am sticking to the guns that Wanda's going to be a villain. I could be wrong. I will be probably wrong, but sticking to that. I reckon Ultron's going to be somehow involved. Ultron's getting made or something. But this bubble that expanded and Darcy got sucked in and all that. This is how they're introducing the X-Men. I straight away as soon as it happened. I don't know if I messaged the group or because I messaged. Oh yeah, I'm pretty sure I messaged the group and said, "Hey, is there a character by the name Darcy in X-Men?" Because I don't know my X-Men or anything, but I just think this bubble's going to be their way of introducing in the mutants. Well, Nina and I were discussing could be the kids, all that are there, could be the New Mutants, whatever. I don't know, but I think this bubble is creating the mutants. This is how they're going to bring them in, how they got their powers or whatnot. But yeah, I'm even going to throw another theory out there that Haywood will have something to do with a sword. Well, I'll be wrong, but I'm just throwing it out there like Manny's clown hunter thingo. But I'll tell you, I reckon Wolverine. I reckon they're making Wolverine as well. I think it's going to be their way of they're making Wolverine or something. I'm just throwing out all these crazy theories because hopefully one of them latches on and I'm actually right. But yeah, man, I think Agnes. I don't think Agnes was playing, to be honest. I reckon she was serious, that she didn't know where she was. I think she could also be a goodie. I don't know. All I know is Marvel's just freaking throwing everything at the wall and just causing all these freaking mix-ups. But I do think we'll see Ultron. I don't know about Mephisto, and I think the X-Men will be created by this bubble. And if get not one right, I will play it. A dare from each one of you boys. I'll do it live on the stream as long as it's not going to get me locked up or killed. I'll do a dare each, and I'm a man of my word.
So
No. Carlos, yeah.
I want to jump in real quick with my theories, and the biggest theory that I have revolves around Monica and her powers, and I agree with the fact that the dome is gonna have something to do with potentially introducing the X-Men, but this is why. So we know that her blood work is that her blood is changing because of the blood work and the tests that Hayward was running, and that she's changing when she was introduced to the cosmic radiation. I think the twist is gonna be that it was the cosmic radiation that ended up activating her dormant X gene, and that in this universe she's actually
is she a mutant in the comics? No, right?
not.
No, they weren't allowed to call her a mutant. That was the deal that they made with Fox at the time, that they weren't allowed to use the word mutant.
No, I mean in the comics for
Yeah.
Monica.
Yeah, in the comics she's not a mutant. But I think that potentially in this universe, she's gonna be introduced as a mutant, and that this X gene has been, like again present, and that her being exposed to this traumatic event activated that X gene. Because in the comics, a lot of the times, the reason why the X gene gets activated is because of a situation in which a person is stressed, right? It it typically came when you became like a teenager and you were under immense stress, or you were triggered by some kind of traumatic event. And I think that this is what's going to activate her X gene. And the dome specifically, now that Wanda is making it bigger, when she ends up just losing absolute control and her powers end up basically affecting the entire world, I think that's what's going to activate the egg.
It's going to blow up. The bubble's going to blow up, and it's going to just go around the world real quick.
Exactly. And that's going to activate. And that's going to activate the X genes. Maybe my theory is way too out there. It's too crazy. But
all right, I can soften it down.
But really quick, what I find extremely, just weird is that Monica is the only one whose blood is being affected by being exposed to that kind of radiation. No, there's no way. Now that Darcy and all of the other, agents have been absorbed into the dome, and all the people that are in there, like Norman and all of that, I don't see all of them getting powers, and you have to explain that away somehow. There has to be something that's particular about Monica, and why her being exposed to this kind of energy is going to turn her into photon, right? That's what we're all expecting. But just the fact that her blood work is being that her blood is being altered, there's something specific about her.
Real quick,
and it'd be amazing if it ends up being that she has the X gene that's dormant.
Well, it's so real quick before you go, Nick, on your point, Carlos, with that, like what is so special about Monica?
Yeah,
I'm thinking she's been exposed around Carol Danvers, who has a bunch of cosmic radiation around her, and she just shows up.
Oh, okay, all right.
So I'm thinking it was just dormant there, and then this whole thing kind of activated, like you said. I don't want it to be the X gene. That's the main thing, is I don't want it to be the X gene for her.
Right.
For her. But go ahead, Nick.
Wrench. That was a big wrench into my theory. Go for it,
So
Nick.
I have a double theory, multiple theories. But my theory about this is I think that both things you're saying are happening at the same time. So because Monica is the only person to have passed in and out multiple times besides Vision and Wanda. I think that her exposure to all the the cosmic energies she's dealt with have already altered her. Because it said it's altering her multiple times.
Yeah.
So she's been altered having to deal with Captain Marvel, altered through going in the first time, altered the second time going out. So I think all that cosmic radiation is going to change her molecularly, so she becomes Photon or Miss Marvel. Let's say Miss Marvel. I think that'd be a cooler idea to make her Miss Marvel. But I also think that the dome expanding is going to either activate eventually the X gene that already exists in the population, or it's going to implant the X gene in all these adults and the children.
Yep.
So the children, the X gene will start activating as they grow up after this is over. But the adults will now have the X gene, but they won't get powers, so Norm won't have powers. Darcy won't get powers, but they will now have the possibility of spreading it when they reproduce, allowing their children to become mutants.
I agree
And
with
then
that.
the people that already have this X gene, maybe it activates in them as adults. So you'll get a couple people that get powers, but mostly you'll just allow it to now say, well, the X gene's a thing now. We know the X gene's a thing because the dome will now expand the entire world. It's going to go, or at least the entire country.
That's pretty good.
We definitely needed to activate in adults just to explain like Wolverine, Professor X, all the adults.
We could say that the X gene already existed because Wolverine is also Weapon X. So
Is he
there's
even a mutant?
experimentation.
Don't they put the liquid in him? He's not really.
But he was a mutant
No,
before.
No,
he has a mutant healing factor.
Yeah.
I don't read X-Men, but yeah.
Thanks for the follow,
His
Tron
mutant
Dreamer. By the
ability
way.
is actually just being able to not die.
Yeah.
And they put the
Falls in him.
skeleton in him.
They bond the adamantium too.
But he also has the bone claws.
Oh, dude! So we have a comment from Pablo99 that WandaVision explanation Mojo.
Are you talking about from X-Men, like the whole TV thing? Mojo?
Huh.
Well, that's not his
I don't like
normal
that.
thing.
I don't like
you think of the new X-Men, but
Yeah.
Mojoverse is a thing.
Oh,
It
okay.
is.
Okay. That's pretty cool.
Right, John?
man.
And you know what, man? Now thinking about it, dude, the fact that we have this whole TV show kind of thing.
Because he
Very-
watches a lot of TVs
yeah,
in his
very
laboratory,
Mojo,
a bunch
like-
of screens.
That's right.
That's really
that's
good.
kind of one of the things with the Mojo. That's not
With
bad.
his eyes like all peeled open and stuff.
I just
That's
really
perfect.
dislike Mojo to begin with, so I didn't want to think about that.
Pablo99, is that what you're referring to? Because
So-
that could introduce the mutants as well, man.
So I have one thing because I was saying who I think Agnes is. Okay,
Go for
I personally think because my theory is that mutants already exist in the world, but not in huge numbers, and Professor X and Magneto has been able to hidden the main characters that we know, but the X gene isn't as widespread as it gets in the early 2000s of comics. In the 90s, it wasn't as widespread. But in the
Right.
2000s, you had the X Academy and everything, and there's mutants everywhere. This is going to explain all those kids, and we might be able to get like an X Academy show. But what I think Agnes is Mystique.
Oh no.
Oh,
No. Go away. Don't say that.
We're throwing more things on the wall than Marvel's throwing in the
You know what I
wall.
mean? You might as well say Pietro was Xavier.
So
Hey, he hasn't been wrong many times, Nick. He
Yeah,
could be onto
Nick.
something here.
Nick
I've
hasn't
been right a
wrong.
lot. Like
Yeah,
there's a
that's
lot
true.
of things I said that I'm either like kind of on the cusp or I get it. So my theory here is because you have Pietro shows up. Okay, Pietro showed up. That's it.
I-
Other evil mutants.
Have you seen Pietro and Pietro and what's her name in the same room together?
Well,
Agnes?
but Mystique can't
Agnes? No,
copy
we
powers
haven't
though.
yet. No, yes we
It'll
did.
be a mistake. She could be playing both.
Yeah, but she couldn't be with Vision and with Wanda at the same time.
Sure.
But I think this thing is because she knows what's going on. Like Mystique is like a character that can disguise herself, so like her power might be messing with the ability, allowing her to like see what's going on and actually play a part of it. Being that she's like a good friend of Magneto, like maybe she went there to spy on Wanda because this shit was going down.
I want
Like,
you to be wrong.
for Magneto, and kind of got that's my theory. It sounded really cool in my head, but I really think that if it's not Mephisto, which I don't think anymore, she's Mephisto. I think she's a big player, and I think we're playing in the X-Men territory. That's where we want as a team. We want it to be X-Men coming out.
So I
We
think
want
it's
this to lead into X-Men.
I think that's a really, really good
I
theory.
think we start adding in the X gene with the dome, bringing Photon after all the radiation, allowing her to get her cosmic powers, and being that Rogue has a lot of ties to Miss Marvel or
Yes.
Carol Danvers, and that the biggest character that's tied to Rogue is Mystique because that's her adopted mother. I think this brings in the possibility to have all those characters fluctuate together the way it is. Because right now, a lot of things they're doing are very comic accurate. They do a lot of things a lot of fan service. I think that she's got to be a big player. And the only big player I could see that ties in so close to Quicksilver and Wanda is Mystique. If it's female-wise,
I think real quick before I pass it off to or you Nick pass it off to someone else. I think that out of WandaVision, and this may be super bold and super out there, but I think out of WandaVision, we're gonna get three things. We're gonna get Photon or Miss Marvel, like you mentioned, Nick. I think we're gonna get the X-Men somehow.
Or at least mutants existing.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, that's yeah, mutants existing or X-Men, mutants in some shape or form.
Yeah.
So Photon, mutants, and I still think that we're gonna get the Fantastic Four, either in the form of introducing Reed Richards, even if we don't see an actor, right? Even if we don't see an actor, but just like an end credit scene. And this was the other theory that I was gonna say for later, but right now is the perfect time. I think that at the very end of the entire season, or who knows, maybe even next episode, but I think it's gonna be at the end of the entire season. We haven't gotten a post credit scene yet in any episode. We haven't gotten any of that. So I think that at the very end, we're gonna get a Captain Marvel type of end credit scene where when Monica sent that text and she said I have a guy, or like I have a contact that's an aerospace engineer. I think that we're gonna get an end credit scene where it's gonna pan out to like outer space, and you're gonna see a shuttle or a space station or something, and her text message is gonna pop up on the screen with a message saying, "Hey, like I need your help," or I need this, I need that, coming from Monica Rambeau. And again, even if you don't get an actor, I think that there's gonna be like a nameplate, or there's gonna be
but she's already making that guy. She's making that contact at the. They leave.
Yeah, but
Let's
this could
make
be
the contact on the
like
bridge.
a prequel like flashback.
Yeah. Or what it could be is that for some reason this person doesn't actually like show up. I don't know, but
could be both.
that it ends up being, or again, he's on his way, or he never makes it. But it's like a prequel that at that moment in time you see again a nameplate or a paper or something that says Reed Richards on it.
I think the more
It's
Marvel
Reed Richards.
MCU
Huh?
thing they could do, because I know how they act, is that they're just going to show Robbie the robot.
Dude, yes.
That because based on what they do all the time, how Feige works. Like I'm telling you, that seems more of his. If he wants to introduce them, he's not going to show them. He's not going to mention them. He's just going to show Robbie the robot.
I'm
Or
not
a hand
current.
stretching.
Yeah, but Robbie the robot would be like how he shows Howard the Duck and the dog and
Exactly.
that's his like thing. He likes to do like weird, obscure like side references.
Exactly.
That you only know right away unless you know it.
Exactly. So that's what I think is something like that's gonna happen. Where again, even if you don't show the actors or you don't show the arm stretching, whatever, it could at least be the introduction to like the Fantastic Four where they're out on a mission, and how they get the cosmic radiation and all of that. That story will come later, but at least introducing the idea that the Fantastic Four are out there. And I agree with Tron Dreamer. It has to be John Krasinski and it has to be Emily Blunt. I don't want anybody else.
Agreed. 100% agreed.
In my opinion,
Agreed.
I don't want anybody else. There's other names that are being thrown out there. That's fine, but it has to be John Krasinski and it has to be Emily Blunt. So those are the three things that I want to finish off with, like my theories: Photon, mutants, and the Fantastic Four.
I agree.
And
I'm
it's
gonna add one more before I'm done.
Dude, go
Is
for
that
it.
AIM Jeff. AIM and the director is somehow like related to like Baron Zemo or something.